Thank you, Suresh. I think there's a challenge in unmuting.
Okay.
Thank you, Suresh. It's been very nice that you agree to address the entire group. We have a list of eminent participants in this whole group. And I don't know whether I should introduce Bose. He's a very interesting profile in the public sector like HMT, then L&T, then a long innings with Vedanta, and now with Jindal, product of Tata Institute. Low profile, high impact person. As you will be listening to him, and as we start conversing with him, and I would like some of the participants to ask a lot of questions, especially on gender diversity. Bose has a lot of passion around that. So what I thought is I'll start, Bose, with a simple question. Can you start from your childhood very quickly, then we'll transition into the HR role.
No, many thanks, Dean. No, I'm privileged to be addressing the Pioneer Labourlaw Compliance Office Forum, and this is personally very nostalgic because my father, who was the Regional Labour Commissioner Central at Chennai, as well as then he retired as Deputy Chief Labour Commissioner from the Central, was very closely attached with Mr. T.S. Gopalan. So that's what is something which really is touching me at this point of time. My childhood, if I would say, it all goes, I keep saying the Mata Pita Guru Dev, and my mother, my father are instrumental in what I am. As a child, the seventh kid at home, and you would understand how it is when we are seven of us, and there is always love and affection from the parents, the brothers and sisters, and did all my education throughout in the Kendra Vidyalaya, and so I've seen my father in the helm always, and that is been a model, motivation, everything for me. And father wanted me to be an IPS officer or IAS officer, which I did aim. Alternatively, when I got into the Tata Institute of Social Science, that was something, a dream come true for me, and always thought that I'm going in the line of my father, and that's how I've come in. And my father, whenever when he used to take us on a tour to the Bhilai or Durg or any of the plant, he used to say that I would like to see one of my son as head of HR of the company. And today is not there, but I fulfilled his dream, I guess, being head of HR for many conglomerates, including Vedanta and now with Jindal Stainless.
That's very interesting and great. In a way, you're IPS, India People Strategist.
That's right. Thanks.
You have a very interesting career from a public sector to a private sector. And what has been this transition for you from a people perspective?
I think I've enjoyed. I mean, the institute, the Tata Institute of Social Science, did teach us that get into all the sector, and when they train us, they put us in a public sector in the as per your curriculum. You go through a public sector, work there for some time. You go into a private sector, you get into a process industry, you get into a manufacturing industry, you get into a service sector. So that curriculum is a beautiful curriculum. And as part of the course on Tuesdays and Fridays, we used to go and visit these industries and also work on winter as well as summer break. So that helped me to, move from one place to another place. And I was very comfortable doing that. But then as public sector, I would say the process is just beautiful. I mean, you have the system, everything, though it could be a little delay, but then the system is intact, very tightly knit, and I enjoyed working there. when I joined, left the public sector and joined Larsen and Toubro, the first company, there was a lot of opposition from my dad in saying that you're leaving a government job. And but then at Larsen and Toubro, they used to pick people from the public sector because all your antecedent verification and thorough check is already done in the public sector with their system. And so they love to take people from the public sector. And Larsen Toubro again has got beautiful system, of their working. The culture at Larsen Toubro has been one of the greatest thing that I've enjoyed, and people per se, I must say, they come on all good times and bad times, even now, and that is the affection and love that that culture is entirely a great culture. Yeah, because I just want to quote here a little bit on Larsen and Toubro, because after 25 years, we had created the Otco Kanchipuram, bare land, nothing. We bought the land from the Swamiji Perival, and we created. We made the ball walls and gate loop check walls, and first 108 people selected by me, invited me and felicitated me on the 25th of December. And they all said, I mean, this man took us, he said, you're working for a good company, you'll become great. And today, he gave us a salary of 800 rupees when we started. And today we are getting 60, 70,000. I don't want to say my salary now because, so much of a thing. My children are studying engineering, doctors and all that. We've got a dwelling made of Otco, this thing. Some of them also have kept their kids' name as Bose, so that's something really gave me a sense of, investment is not just in money, but investment in people is a great thing. So that is a beautiful thing. Then I moved from there to a multinational again has got a beautiful system, well tested, which works on, the country headquartered specific, then comes to Asia Pacific, and Asia Pacific delivers to us. So it has got one of the beautiful system, and people like Mr. My boss as Anto Vincent, then was something, a lot of learning, from his learning from Alstom and other places. He gave me a lot of learning. So I guess it's a mix of everything, and I worked very closely with expats and expats. Encouragement and appreciation is what I would say it took me a long way. And it was like I would say the journey with the multinational was like a pretty human story for me, because you fly out on Friday from Bombay, come here, spend a couple of days, and then fly back again on Sunday, and stay in a 5-star hotel for first 6 months. And the lifestyle was beautiful, very systematic oriented. We for the first time touched the computers and emails and all that, started working in that system. So I guess it was a beautiful learning. Moved for another course of Masters in Employment Labor Studies in between to Netherlands for 2 years, 15 months. And then came back again. I was with the Visteon and the Ford embedded system, and then moved on to the service sector and the Mahindra Holidays for a while. And then the last 18 years was with the Vedanta. I would today say, with the public, private, or anything, the entrepreneur-driven companies are pretty strong, and Indian entrepreneur-driven companies are going on a big way, I would say, and their systems are pretty good. They have institutionalized certain departments. For example, Vedanta has institutionalized its management assurance system, which is a risk management system. So with HR is again a great piece of to work. We have done all kinds of things talking about numbers, and we keep saying that anything that gets measured gets improved. So that is the way we keep talking about indices and everything. So I think a great journey. And currently I'm again with an entrepreneur-driven company, an young entrepreneur. My boss, Mr. Abudai Jindal, who is the MD, drives beautifully, very well, without very systematically. Every alternate weeks we have reviews on various verticals of HR, very focused review. I would say.
That's great. Very strong process-driven HMT to family-run organizations like Vedanta and Jinda. And a little contradicting, probably inconvenient question. Most of the strong process-driven, non-negotiable, rule-driven organizations, like probably HMT, what has happened to HMT, one of the best, if you see in mission tools, Korea learned from HMT, and today Korea has taken over HMT. Somewhere, is this process sometimes changes, or look at Vedanta, the way they have grown is phenomenal. There's a lot of unreasonableness, but with a business in mind. Is there a contradiction between a process and business expectations?
I think, change management is something that competency one has to be adopted. I mean, it's like the Nokia not getting into the right time of change management. It's constant endeavor. I mean, and diversification is something that you will have to do. If you don't do that, then there is a failure, I would say. Because when I joined Vedanta, I saw they were number crunchers. I mean, even now I would say they are number crunchers. Anything, everything, they would talk, 2/3, 1/3, the percentage, what is the percentage? So they talk our languages. And I kept saying to the chairman, why don't you start something as a bank or banking system or something like that, because you're so strong in your numbers. So diversification is required. But then Vedanta stuck into metals and mines, and that was their core business. They did not want to get into either the IT or telephones, which was booming during that time, though they had options. But they stuck with the ferrous and non-ferrous metals, and so I guess that was a great story. I mean, I've seen that company with 0.5 billion to today 20 billion US dollar. So that's a great journey. I mean, it's a mini bank, I would say. Vedanta is with almost 50% debt and equity, and so this is something that one as a CEO or as a management control, which is not there in the public sector, where it is more to do with the government and with the approvals and all that. So if you don't change, you are not there in picture, and that's what has happened with HMT. I mean, it never went on a change thing. And again, I would come to another question which you are prompting me to answer, but then certain competencies which one needs to build is managing stakeholders, internal as well as external stakeholders, very strongly. And then as CEOs, I would always recommend 80% of your time spent with the community, with the stakeholders externally, and look at the market scenario, get business and prospectors over a period of time to spread the horizon and give employees the comfort that there is more for us to do.
That's excellent. Again, bordering on a little bit of a controversial thing, from Ratnagiri to Tuticorin, there are two sides of Vedanta, which have a little bit what I would know. The people inside Vedanta are outstanding. The way the professionals have grown, the way they are groomed, they do some outstanding work. But when it comes to the community acceptance, there seems to be challenges. And Vedanta gets into how, as HR profession, more as a ER community linked, your challenges were, and how do you look at it now in reflection?
See, I personally been in Tuticorin. I was head of HR for Sterlite Copper Tuticorin, one of the greatest company. I mean, my family or my children, if they ask, if you ask them where are you from, they would say Tuticorin. There's so much of an attachment because there's so much of an engagement with employees. And being a mother plant of Vedanta, it is one of those world-class company with the latest technology. It is a cash cow machine. It's like the Tata's TCS. And it is just that, in Hindi they say Najar lag gaya, or in Tamil they say Kannu Patriche, like that it is, because it is to give about 400 million, I mean, per annum. I mean, it's just that getting ore from Chile and processing out here in the primary spindle, taking the cathodes and making it anode 99.9%, and beautiful. And the process is so beautiful that nothing gets wasted, and everything in house. And the community, by and large, we have done a lot of work with the community. It's just, I would say, an external factor which led to this cost. But then I'm sure there are days when Tuticorin will be back on its track and running pretty well. A 4 lakh tons, and I still remember, inducting a CEO, and from 2.8 ramped, though the capacity is 4 lakh, we went to 3.3, 3.3 to 3.8 lakh, and so beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, anything and everything is possible with a care. It's a beautiful metallurgical plant, a world-class plant, which again must come back in the fold of for the India and for the nation, I would say.
That's great. But how are the employees' mindset dealt, especially during that crisis? They had to close down the plant, and as HR, what were your challenges?
No, I think all we get up. I mean, the best part about Sterlite Copper in Vedanta, the bounce back by the employee. I mean, we divided ourselves into various groups. One would handle the village, some religious, someone on the industrial thing, and the village side we would handle. Someone would handle the state government. Someone would handle the central government. So we spread ourselves, and everyone worked. Everyone worked. I mean, it's just that somewhere something that did not click our way. NCLT, the NCT. I mean, and the Green Tribunal had given us a green signal, and we were to start that. But then somewhere again some kind of an intervention came, and we could not start. But otherwise, employees even now are totally geared to get this company back on the wheels, I would say.
Now that you have transitioned into Jindal, and probably you're working with a young CEO, how are you looking at it?
It's a beautiful. I'm looking at the new age kind of a thing, and today, I mean, I have just said in my article in HR Karta also is that I would like to see any routine HR work on the chatbot on an AI platform, and I have personally worked with the AI. I given some of the young entrepreneur unicorn companies like Infido the first job, and then they've grown today into $1 billion company. So I know this is quite possible. Anything and everything, we need to just put technology, get the culture that people just type in and get whatever query they want on HR related, and we want to engage continuously with them, with employees, and partner in the business, and that's what I'm doing. And I've been meeting people from the Tata Administrative Service. I've been meeting people with IIT, IIMs, and everyone has got bright ideas. We need to tap that, and then I'm looking at day one, putting a key, the KPIs and getting them to drive that thing. It's more of an engagement. How do you engage with this employees and youngsters is important, because if it's a lot of hours, they come here for 8 hours or 12 hours or 13 hours, but then if they're not engaged, then you can't just leave it, because and new ideas are there, and so much of a scope is there with the current war with Ukraine and Russia. There's so much of a opportunity for us. And I was just sending that article today to my CXO, saying that we do have so much of an opportunity in defense sector, and we can do. And we are a monopoly in stainless, and we are number one in India, and in the world within 10, and we want to be in number 2 soon. And with and the expansion that is taking place in both Jajpur as well as ISAR unit, we will be in the top 5 soon. And currently the consumption is about 2.5 kg per person, and the world consumption is about worldwide is about 6.5. So we have a lot of scope, and unicorns. The scope is there on e-commerce side that we have identified. We're also diversifying with the small other related aspect, because our top dollar would come not on B2B business, but B2C business. So that's important. And because I mean, if you ask anything, any utensils, you will say Savna store or other places, but it is not Jindal. And so we want to get that on the top. Our SPD, the special product division, is what top dollar that we get. And then the blades that we use, the Gillette, is all made by us. The coins made by us, which all we send it to other countries. All the coins are made by us, and the airport vestibules all are made by us. The elevators made by us. The grinders, the mixies, everything is made. Most of the car items in this and the automobile things we are making today. We have entered the ISRO and other places. We are doing most of it from Jindal Stainless. So there is the horizon for Jindal Stainless is voluminous, and we have got a lot of things for employees to do. So, but the only thing is we need to channelize, make it big, and like my earlier chairman is saying, look at Mercedes and don't look at Maruti. So we would want to see that way and grow in a bigger way.
That's very interesting. Both Vedanta as well as Jindal, you have to deal with people like me, the oldies, the younger generation, and the generational challenges on the one side, pandemic, Ukraine war, and all your artificial intelligence, augmented intelligence, IoTs. So what are the IR/ER challenges from your own perspective?
No, I'd say I believe in having a mix of all age group people, and because that's what strengthens the department or brings a good culture. It's just not, and we are an equal opportunity employer. We want to employ people from all over India, the geographical mix, diversity. In fact, we are looking at countries which are making stainless steel to get people draw their importance to our company. And I would take them as the interns and on a virtual basis, give some assignment and get that going on the IR front or anything. Just we are. I was just because 1950s. I mean, ISAR unit, the mother unit. It's a old unit. But then see the promoter. I mean, I would say Babuji, Mr. O.P. Jindal had a very big vision. It's today sitting, the plant is sitting in the center of the city, but then nothing is going wrong because 700 bedded hospital, which he thought long back. The school, which is about 5,500 people, one of the world-class school. The alumni are doing wonders. Today, the chief minister of New Delhi is Kejriwal is from that school, is a product of that school. And again, the girls' school, which was residential school, world class again. There's so many other educational institutes that has come in and out. The people who had joined there as GETs today are in holding the HOD positions. So there's a lot of scope. And again, as what I had seen in OTCO Kanchipuram, I'm seeing here the students, the wards are doing so well, not just in India, but overseas also. And absolutely a great commitment by these people giving back to the society. We are doing wonders. IR, ER, employee relation. There are a lot of things comes and goes, and people are happy because just not that we take care. Again, I would also appreciate the state government giving people a good amount in various scheme of theirs, and an employee draws a big amount from the state government as well, in which our employees help to get that. And I would say a tune of close to about 50,000-60,000, and which is a good amount. I mean, being drawn, cycles or education scholarship or medical thing. there's so many schemes post-COVID. They've got so many other health related scheme for the marriages and other thing. So I think there is wonders. And today also, I would say about 3,000 students are being taught by the state government as a subject of stainless steel, which is again a boom for us. With our expansion, the state government and we have signed an MOU last week. So that again,
that's great.
yeah.
Interestingly, we have a lot of women getting into the HR. There's some interesting participants in this group also. What is your thoughts on diversity? Not necessarily in the service sector or service functions, but in the core functions.
See, again, if you say, I have about 99 people, and I said when you hit 100 at Jashpur, you celebrate, 100 women as such. The helm, as a management, if you see, my chairman is Mr. Ratan Jindal, MD is Ms. Abhiday Jindal, and one of those division is taken care by the First Lady, Deepika Jindal, the lifestyle division. She is heading. So that itself, sets the context for us that we are an equal opportunity employer. And there is, again, a lot of scope, just not in the enabling side that I, as personally in HR, feel we can strengthen more of people that we can get in enabling. But then in the plant site itself, you would see, people coming in shift and working on the plant, and there's a lot of contribution. We are a metallurgical company. People come with new ideas. The environment for them to give their ideas is something there, and so I think I guess diversity for us is something I personally feel it has to be a mix and match, and for just not the work ethics, also for the culture issues or anything that I would say have that. And especially when you have external interface going as pair, would help you to get whatever you want. And I have done that in family. I would do this even as department wise.
Oh, that's a great answer. I had two more questions, then I leave it to the audience. What are the few advices, tips you would like to give it to young HR professionals? Because there's one challenge with young HR professionals is they would all like to be high flying. They don't want to dirty their hands. Don't love this word called IR. What would be your advice?
I would say, whatever they like, let them balloon it. I wouldn't say that don't change or don't go look back, because it's I would leave them free. I would leave them with the tech innovation and whatever the latest that they like, and the millennials don't want to talk to the human being much, but then keep working and delivering. I would leave them, but they are beautiful people. They are just beautiful people. I would say, get an opportunity, see all the places. And I always love walking in the shop floor, relieving myself with getting some drawing, some ideas, relieving some ideas. So people would still, recognize me, the man who used to walk in the shop floor and, see us and have a knack, just doesn't see front, but then his eyes rolls down and sees backward also, and then comes back and gives ideas. So I would say, youngsters, go for it, whatever is best. Keep reading. Agility is something, a great word. Decision making is a great word. I would say, go and do it, and the last minute preparation. Without preparation, nothing will happen. If you don't prepare yourself, nothing is going to go your way. So hard work, preparation, and going and getting the result is very important. Say-do ratio is very, very important. It's just not talking, but then getting the result out and then multiplying it. If you don't do, you are not in. That's what because people keep watching, because and they want intelligent ideas and intelligent implementation. It's just not giving ideas, but then how do you implement? Walk the talk is very important. And this is what I know. When I was in London with my chairman, we used to meet in morning, 3-4 meetings, just calling intelligent people, drawing some ideas, and then seeing how these ideas can get implemented. It's just not there with the CEOs, but then it's all also at home. When we meet, call some friends, we get some ideas, and immediately we say, why don't we invest in a property somewhere there? Where he has said. So it's drawing ideas. Implementing is very important for youngsters.
Okay. Sorry, last but 2 questions before I go to the audience. What are one of the most interesting challenge you face in your life?
I would say, the challenge I would say is that, again, per se, I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but then getting change management is something is a challenge. Getting yourself. We wanted to put a lot of things in technology and Vedanta as well. And that is where I keep saying, it's not easy, because I always believe that I as a team can do it. But is it possible? Not possible. Again, I would say I would be somewhere like 25-75 success rate in the first hand. The second hand, I was 50-50. In the third hand, I went up. But then bringing professional to get them to do is again a good idea. If something is not happening, outsource it. And somewhere I missed that opportunity, but then I have learned that today something is not happening, though you may be knowing, get the outsource it and give it to outside people and get the result out. So that's important, because time is in essence. We just can't talk, but you have to implement that.
Spot on. And related to that is the latest MIT study says people are willing to listen to robotics than to the human boss. So the day is not far when robotic HR boss takes over. Your final comments.
No, I always felt, HR as a function can also always be outsourced, because, and now with the technology, so much of a thing, it can be outsourced. But then you need, people also need people, so, and that's the reason HR has still got the importance and it's in the help. And I would stick to that, and that needs to be that gentlemanness and the politeness and the diplomaticness. And that's where HR is there. But then, yes, millennials want to talk with machine, but not, or chat with the machine, but not with the human. I mean, they come and say, "Kya advice lena hai? What to hear from so and so." But then, if they draw something, it's something beautiful. I mean, they would grow, because experience. We read books, we see experience, we see walk the talk, we see TED talks. There's so much of an inspiration that keeps coming, and I guess this is one of those things that people, millennials must interact and get some ideas from a mix of both people as well as machine.
That's great. Can I invite questions from the participants? Any participant? Sujata? Yes, Mr. Aramadan.
Just I want to have one clarification. From his experience, now almost all the companies are reconciling to the hybrid model of working thanks to COVID. What kind of focus areas need to be addressed? Assuming that this working from home and hybrid working come to stay, what kind of a policy reviews need to be done? Particularly HR policies. That is one thing. Now we find the machines are replacing HR. Robotics can boss over the human beings. All those things are there. The fundamental issue in HR is the human touch. And now we are all electronically connected and emotionally disconnected. Without interactions and human, because after all, the human beings are social animals. what kind of a policy we need to review and to restore a balance between a traditional HR working and the contemporary HR requirements?
Good question, I would say. I mean, to answer to your first question, work from home or work from anywhere in the country, that's something which has come up. You don't have an office at all, but then you are either work from home or you work from US or you work from Africa or Asia Pacific, anywhere. I mean, that's the thing, that as long as you're able to deliver, that's good enough with the company. We don't know where it is going to head. Is that possible, not possible? I have interacted with people who said, no, I'm not comfortable now, because this is something which probably few of them are comfortable, few of them are not comfortable, because there's so much of a distraction even at, because offices is an office where there is no distraction. You can't dance around, you can't eat around, there's some kind of a, ethos and things. So we don't know where it is going to head to, but then there has been productivity that we hear. There has been more delivery we hear. There has been also people say that they work more than what they work in office. And this is saving energy in terms of fuel. It's saving energy in terms of electricity. It is, it is saving so many things for the organization. But the numbers don't lie. And I would say it is going on a uptrend only, I would say. The only thing is it is going to take some time for it to stabilize, and then they would probably come up saying that, yes, we would have meetings on a weekly basis or a virtual or something like that, and draw the attention. And probably the task and KPIs, it's going to be more on a contractual thing that could go up over a period of time, that whatever I wanted, I'm getting it. So we're going to be more sharper the task is going to be something which is related and wanted, and that is where the manager or the management thing is there. It's just not going to have something which is very enabling kind of a thing. It is going to be something which is related, and so that when the two dot joins, there is going to be a meaning to it. And this is something beautiful, and I want similar thing in HR as well, that we leave the enabling part and concentrate on the what is required for us to be done. And I guess in that, when you say in HR, it is more to get the right person and put management in place. That is number one. And for me, it revolves under that. The second would be the talent management piece of seeing what the employees are doing and how they are doing, and who can be tapped for giving an assignment or so. So that's part one. Part two to your question is if there are robotics that is coming or AI coming, but that's what is already coming. We cannot stop something. Tomorrow we're going to have a battery-driven car. We're going to have people-less car. So all that is what people want, and we cannot stop the change management. If we stop, it is not going to happen. But then yes, we were earlier known as personal officers. Then came developmental human resource development. Today again we are called as chief human resource people management, people person. So I guess on the people, as I said in earlier also, people is something, one needs to be engaging, and it is not easy, because if I draw some people who is working for 12-13 hours, I recently interviewed a person, and I, goosebump in my hands when I heard him saying that he works about 13 hours. And he wants some time, and he doesn't want to work with a consultant like BCG because there's no time there. And he has coached and trained about 200-300 people, SAT people who have got into SAT. So he's got multi-facet thing with him, and he wants to work here, work there, and do so many things and make wonders. So I guess engaging and coaxing and giving someone is important, and feeling the pulse of the people is important for HR person to be there. there is always, mommy, daddy required in any environment, and that's what is the people man.
That's great. Mummy, daddy required. Interesting question from Vikram Bhati. Can you please rephrase your thoughts regarding organization outsourcing HR functions?
Regarding?
Organization outsourcing HR functions.
No, I see, if there are some routine work, why are we putting our employees to do that? For example, in Sterlite Copper, I did the compliance part, and I'm sure T.S. Gopalan compliance, labor compliance part also is more of an online thing that they are doing. We had engaged this Avatar and Aparjita, sorry, as compliance partner, and all are ex-armed force people. And for them, that is, they have a server, they have a platform, everything based on that. They have legal experts. So, the money that we were spending with our employees and not getting it done was a poor thing. On compliance score, we used to always get 30-40%, whereas when we employed the compliance, outsourced it, not only we reduce the manpower, okay, our own manpower, we also reduce the cost. And whenever I outsource, I look at two things. One is, can I reduce my cost? Can I reduce my manpower? And the effectiveness. So this is when it is possible, when you can do it, and also you're developing a startup and new vendors. So why not give opportunity to others? How much of that you want to do it yourself?
Okay. Another interesting question from Mr. Harris. How do you measure integrity?
It's either 0 or 10. It is nothing in between. I mean, you can't say that I was doing, but then this is what happened, and I took the money, but I returned it back. It can't. You've taken the money, you're out. That's it. So there's no question of in between things. And at Vedanta or at Jindal, we are pretty strong. Zero tolerance for us is very, very important, and we would stick. And any of the managers, for me, I mean, as I do an interview, first thing is I call up 4-5 people, do my reference checking before I meet the candidate. And if I'm meeting today Mr. Dean or anyone, I would see his one-pager in advance. I would not meet him till this thing. No courtesy meeting. It is always meeting, checking their so many records of theirs before. When I used to get them to meet my chairman or someone, I will do all kind of due diligence. I will not meet anyone without records.
Harishankar, probably ex-Sterlite, has a lot of compliments to you. Sterlite is a great place to work. I think we have come to the end of the session. You have beautifully articulated Mummy Daddy, which is a very strong takeaway I have, which is what HR has to be, the parental care, at the same time, professionalism, and give opportunity. When you spoke about allowing the millennials to choose what they like and create that environment and opportunity, that's a space what HR has to create. As usual, you have been impactful, walking the talk. Thanks a lot, Bose. I think it's been a great learning. I'm sure we should be in touch more often to learn from you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a million for this.
Lovely. I mean, I attended, invited Dean for a session in Sterlite Copper, and we thoroughly enjoyed that meeting. And there's so much of a learning. And I see Dean being younger day by day, putting a lot of things in the Facebook and showing. And that's the way I think, Dean, we learn from you, and we get the inspiration that there is life there. And many thanks for being with me today.
Thanks. It's a pleasure. It's a mutual admiration club. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the participants for joining.